My name is Milo. I am 62 years old, and until that evening, I believed a father's love meant endless understanding, endless patience, endless giving. I was wrong. Because love without boundaries does not create gratitude. It creates expectation. And expectation, when fed long enough, becomes entitlement. The message: Dad, dinner Friday, 7 p.m., don't be late. That was the text from my son, Ethan. Short, efficient, professional. He works in corporate finance now, a world of glass buildings, strategic language, and expensive watches. A world I helped him reach but never belonged to myself. I spent 38 years working double shifts at a manufacturing plant. Steel beams, oil-stained gloves, early mornings, late nights. I missed fishing trips, I skipped vacations. I refinanced my house when he was accepted into the University of Pennsylvania for business school. I never told him how scared I was signing those papers. A father doesn't announce his sacrifices. He just makes them. The restaurant. The restaurant was modern, all marble floors and dim golden lights. The kind of place where the waiters move like dancers and pronounce things with accents. Claire, his wife, was already seated when I arrived. She stood and hugged me warmly. "Hi Milo, I'm glad you came." That sentence alone meant more than she probably realized. Ethan stayed seated. "You made it," he said, checking his watch with a faint smirk. "I said I would," I replied. "The menus arrived, no prices listed." That should have told me everything. Subtle cuts. Dinner began pleasantly enough. Claire talked about her architecture firm's new project. Ethan discussed market volatility, investment strategies, property expansion. I listened. Parents learn to listen more than they speak. Then Ethan leaned back and looked at me. "So, Dad, how's retirement? Must be relaxing not having to deal with real-world pressure anymore." Real-world pressure. I smiled lightly. Pressure looks different in different lives. He chuckled. "Sure, but corporate stress is another level." Claire shifted slightly in her seat. I felt it, not pain but something sharper, dismissal. He didn't mean to insult me, that's the strange part. He simply believed his world was bigger. And in his mind, bigger meant better. The proposal. Halfway through the main course, Claire brought it up. "We found a house," she said, eyes shining. "It's beautiful, closer to downtown." Ethan nodded confidently. "I've arranged most of the financing." Then he looked directly at me. "Just waiting on the final portion." The final portion. $180,000. My savings. My security. My safety net in case illness came, in case life turned unpredictable, in case I needed dignity without dependence. "I told you I'd think about it," I said calmly. He laughed lightly. "Dad, come on, don't make it weird in front of Claire." Weird. He had turned my hesitation into embarrassment. I felt heat rise to my face. "It's not weird," I replied evenly, "it's responsible." He leaned forward, voice tightening. "You have the money just sitting there. This house is an investment, it'll grow, it makes financial sense." Financial sense. To him, everything was numbers. But respect. That didn't show up on spreadsheets. The humiliation. Then it happened. "Honestly," he said, shaking his head, "sometimes I think you're afraid of growth. That's why you stayed in that small life so long." Small life. The words landed softly but cut deeply. A small life. The life that fed him, educated him, protected him. The life that carried him on its back. Claire looked down at her plate. I realized something in that moment. My son was not trying to hurt me. He simply no longer saw me clearly. And that was worse. The check. When the bill arrived, it was placed naturally in front of me. Because I always paid. School trips. Car repairs. Wedding contribution. Down payment assistance. Every time. But this time, I gently closed the leather folder and pushed it across the table. "Tonight," I said quietly, "you pay." Ethan blinked. "Dad." "You're right," I continued calmly. "You operate in a bigger world now, consider this practical training." Claire's eyes widened slightly. Ethan hesitated, then pulled out his credit card. The silence at that table felt heavier than the bill itself. The decision. The next morning I called my bank. I canceled the transfer. Every dollar. Not out of anger. Out of clarity. There is a difference between supporting your child and financing your own disrespect. I would still love my son, but I would no longer underwrite his ego. The phone call. 2 days later, Ethan called. The transfer was canceled. Yes. Why? Because I won't invest in a relationship where I'm treated like a liability. He sighed loudly. You're overreacting. No, I said gently, I'm responding. There was silence. Then he said something that revealed more than he realized. You're risking our deal. I closed my eyes briefly. You risked something more important. What? Respect. The memory flood. After we hung up, I sat alone in my kitchen. I saw him at 5 years old, gripping my finger crossing the street. At 12, crying because he was bullied. At 22, hugging me after graduation and whispering, I couldn't have done this without you. When did gratitude fade? When did achievement replace humility? And then the painful truth surfaced. I had taught him ambition, but I had not taught him boundaries. Because I never set any. Claire's visit. A week later, Claire came alone. She looked uneasy. I'm sorry about dinner, she said softly. You didn't humiliate me, I replied kindly. But I didn't stop it. Her honesty surprised me. He's under pressure, she said. He feels like he has to prove himself constantly. To who? I asked. Everyone. I nodded. Sometimes, the need to impress the world makes us forget who helped us get there. The return. 2 days later, Ethan came to my house. No suit jacket. No confidence shield. Just my son. We sat at the same kitchen table where he once did homework. I thought about what you said, he admitted quietly. I didn't interrupt. I didn't realize how it sounded. It sounded like you were ashamed of where you came from, I said calmly. His eyes flickered. I'm not ashamed of you. But you were distancing yourself from me. Silence filled the room. Finally, he said the words that matter more than money. I'm sorry, Dad. Simple. Not dramatic. But sincere. The new terms. I won't give you the full amount, I said. He nodded slowly. But I will help in a way that protects both of us. He looked up. I'll invest a smaller portion, legally structured, clear terms. He almost smiled. You're treating it like a business deal. No, I said gently, I'm treating it like a relationship with accountability. He exhaled a long, honest breath. I never meant to make you feel small. I know, I replied, but intention doesn't erase impact. That sentence changed something between us. For the first time in years, we were speaking as two adults, not as a provider and a beneficiary. The lesson. The next time we went to dinner, Ethan paid before the bill even arrived. Not to impress me. Not to prove anything. But to show understanding. He asked about my stories from the factory. He listened. Really listened. And I realized something powerful. Children don't outgrow needing guidance. They just resist it when it comes without firmness. Moral of the story. I am Milo, 62 years old, and here is what I learned. Love does not require self-erasure. Sacrifice does not mean silence. Boundaries do not weaken family, they strengthen it. Respect must flow both directions. If you are a son or daughter reading this, remember. The hands that built your future deserve honor, not comparison. If you are a parent reading this, remember. You can give your children everything, except the right to diminish you. That night I didn't cancel a payment. I canceled a pattern. And in doing so, I didn't lose my son. I finally regained his respect. Sometimes the strongest lesson a father teaches isn't written on a check. It's written in the courage to say, no more.